Welcome to MDP Coins, the tale of the astonishing 1993 1-cent USA coin, a tiny copper-plated piece whose unexpected worth has soared far beyond its humble face value due to a combination of rare errors, mint anomalies, striking mistakes, and unique possibilities that together created a perfect storm of collectability, intrigue, and historical significance, transforming what should have been a simple penny into a potential treasure valued by collectors at an unbelievable $18 million. And as we unravel how such an ordinary everyday coin could become so extraordinarily valuable, you'll see how details that most people would never notice can sometimes alter numismatic history forever, because the 1993 1-cent coin, struck during a time when the US Mint was transitioning through different production standards, material compositions, die maintenance cycles, and quality control pressures, wound up becoming a prime candidate for errors that slipped through undetected. And when even a single coin among the billions produced escapes the Mint's usually strict oversight with the right combination of defects, it can instantly elevate its status into the realm of rarity that collectors dream of, and in this case, rumors and documented findings around extremely unusual mint mark errors, double die strikes, misaligned dies, off-center impressions, transitional planchet mix-ups, wrong metal strikes, copper versus zinc composition anomalies, and even the possibility of experimental test strikes have made the 1993 penny an object of endless speculation, study, and high-stakes bidding among serious enthusiasts, and what makes its story even more exciting is that the discussion didn't emerge all at once but instead grew slowly as coin collectors began sharing their discoveries across forums, auctions, and appraisal sessions, each new example adding a piece to the puzzle of why a penny from this specific year could hold so much value, because the early 1990s represented a complex production era for the US Mint, still adapting to the full transition away from the earlier 95% copper composition toward the predominantly zinc core with copper plating, a change that started in 1982 but still had occasional anomalies in the years that followed due to leftover materials, planchet contamination, or unexpected mixing of older and newer stock. And when a transitional error occurs, meaning a coin is accidentally struck on the wrong metal composition, its rarity skyrockets because it represents a mistake that should not exist under normal minting conditions, and for the 1993 penny, although the vast majority was struck on the standard zinc-based planchets, isolated reports suggested the existence of examples that may have been struck on leftover copper planchets or possibly even experimental compositions intended for testing or calibration. And while such claims always undergo intense scrutiny, the very possibility pushes collectors deeper into research, especially when weight measurements, acoustic resonance tests, and metallurgical analyses hint at unusual properties, and beyond composition, the mint mark of a coin plays an enormous role in its value when errors occur, because the mint mark identifies where the coin was produced, and in modern minting years the marks are typically machine-punched or die-produced with a high level of consistency, but in some rare instances, mistakes can create coins that bear no mint mark when they should. Coins with doubled or tripled mint marks, coins with mint marks that appear rotated, misplaced, crooked, too faint, too large, or struck with an earlier die intended for a different year, and these mint mark anomalies can transform a coin into a rarity that collectors aggressively pursue, and in the case of the 1993 penny, the discussion has involved extremely rare varieties suspected of being struck with improperly prepared dies, including potentially mismatched mint mark punches or mint marks from the wrong year, which could have happened following maintenance or die replacement during a period of heavy production when numerous dies were in use simultaneously, making it possible, though extremely rare, for a mint worker to accidentally pair components incorrectly, and such a mistake slipping through would make the resulting coin extraordinarily valuable, especially if only one or a handful made it into circulation. And speaking of circulation, part of what makes the story of a rare and valuable penny so compelling is the idea that such a coin could be hiding in plain sight, passed through countless hands, dropped on sidewalks, left in drawers, or sitting unnoticed in jars for decades, because while collectors and experts devote significant time to studying mint errors, most people pay little attention to pennies, making it even more likely that a valuable example could escape notice for years. And when word spreads of a valuable error coin, people around the country begin checking their change, comparing weights, inspecting mint marks, and examining for doubling with magnifying lenses, and in rare cases one of these finds turns out to be authentic, causing a flurry of excitement that reinforces the idea that hidden treasures still exist in everyday pocket change. And another possibility that contributes to the high valuation of the rare 1993 penny is the phenomenon of off-center strikes, a minting error that occurs when a coin blank is not perfectly seated within the collar of the coin pressing machinery, resulting in a design that appears shifted or incomplete. And while minor off-center strikes are relatively common and do not add significant value, extreme off-center strikes, especially those with visible dates and mint marks, can be incredibly valuable. And if a 1993 penny with such an extreme misalignment were to also possess a mint mark anomaly or a rare composition, its value could compound dramatically, creating exactly the kind of multi-error rarity that collectors would be willing to pay millions for, because numismatic value increases exponentially when different types of rare errors appear together on a single coin, creating a one-of-a-kind specimen. And then there is the double die or multiple impression error, one of the most famous types of coin errors that collectors eagerly seek, occurring when the die that stamps the design onto the coin shifts or is misaligned during creation, resulting in doubled, tripled, or otherwise distorted lettering, numbers, or design elements. And when this happens on the date, Liberty, In God We Trust, or the mint mark, it becomes even more desirable, with some double-die pennies from earlier decades already fetching extraordinary prices at auction. So when rumors and expert analyses began circulating that a small number of 1993 pennies exhibited unusual doubling, particularly around the date and motto, speculation regarding their potential worth increased dramatically, especially as collectors recognized that a strong double die combined with any additional rarity such as a mint mark error, off-metal strike, or significant misalignment would be astronomically valuable, multiplying the valuation far beyond typical expectations. And adding to all these factors is the role of provenance, meaning the documented history of a rare coin, which plays a major part in determining its market value, because a coin with a well-established record of expert appraisal, authentication, and previous high-profile ownership attracts far more attention than one with unknown origins. And for the rare 1993 penny valued at $18 million, the story often includes accounts of extensive expert examinations, metallurgical studies, and professional grading services assigning it a near-perfect condition or confirming its extremely rare error combination, all of which contribute to its exceptional valuation, because rarity alone is not always enough to push a coin into the multi-million-dollar range. But rarity combined with impeccable documentation, unique characteristics, high collector demand, and strong historical interest can result in valuations that seem unbelievable at first glance, yet are fully justified in the world of numismatics. And of course, the marketplace itself also shapes the value of a coin, because rare coins sometimes reach astronomical prices when wealthy collectors compete at auction, each determined to acquire a piece of history that may never appear again for sale in their lifetime. And in such high-stakes bidding environments, even a small amount of competition can drive prices upward rapidly, with collectors determined to secure the bragging rights associated with owning one of the rarest and most unusual error coins ever discovered. And when a coin like the rare 1993 penny emerges, with its cocktail of errors, anomalies, and theoretical impossibilities, it becomes the perfect candidate for a record-breaking sale, because collectors recognize that even if more error coins from the same year were to be discovered in the future, none would ever be identical to the one that created such a sensation, making that particular coin not just an error but a numismatic legend. And this kind of legendary status is what ultimately cements a coin's multi-million-dollar value, because numismatics is not just about metal or minting but about stories, history, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. And when a coin embodies all of those factors in the most dramatic way possible, its worth becomes more than just monetary. It becomes symbolic of the mysteries that still lie hidden in modern coinage, the idea that even in an age of mass production and precision engineering, mistakes can and do happen, sometimes creating objects of enormous value. And this is why the 1993 penny has captured the imagination of so many collectors, because its story,